Welcome back to RPG Plus. This time I will begin the origin I will be playing for my playthrough of the game. I would also like to point out though that the other origins did in fact actually happen. The only difference is which one Duncan was present at, and of course that will be whatever one you choose to play through as. So all the events actually did take place, just minus anything that Duncan could have intervened in. So you will see things of that through the game you can catch. Sadly, a lot of people can miss them if you don't play through all the origins first to kind of get an idea of each of the little stories. But that's why I showcase them first. So let's go ahead and get into it. I think I'm going to show the cutscene again at the beginning for you.
The Chantry teaches us that it is the hubris of men which brought the darkspawn into our world. The mages had sought to usurp heaven, but instead they destroyed it. They were cast out, twisted and cursed by their own corruption. They returned as monsters, the first of the darkspawn. They became a blight upon the lands, unstoppable and relentless. The dwarven kingdoms were the first to fall, and from the deep roads, the darkspawn drove at us again and again, until finally we neared annihilation. Until the Grey Wardens came. Men and women from every race, warriors and mages, barbarians and kings. The Grey Wardens sacrificed everything to stem the tide of darkness, and prevailed. It has been 4 centuries since that victory, and we have kept our vigil. We have watched and waited for the darkspawn to return. But those who once called us heroes have forgotten. We are few now, and our warnings have been ignored for too long. Even be too late. For I have seen with my own eyes what lies on the horizon. Maker, help us all.
Alright, so I'll be playing female, human, rogue, noble. Let's set up my character real quick. I'm probably going to spend a little time here, so I'll see you when I finish. Alright, I believe I have actually finished with my character. Kind of a bit of a look angles here. a name, even though it's not ever really going to refer to it, which is why I'm going to go ahead and put it in this one, is I'm a massive fan of Final Fantasy, and the rogue type that I'm going to use for, I'd say the closest character to that would probably be someone like Tifa, so it's the name I'll use. Alright, let's go ahead and go. Build up that cunning. Got persuasion up there. Now, what do I want? Now, I want best to try to not put any points in here, because you can actually get it with the cunning score itself. I think I said something about it earlier, but you can actually, with enough cunning, go through the game without any points in lockpicking, because it does use the cunning stat as well. Now, let's see here. Go ahead and pick up the stealth. I'm mostly going to focus on here and my special ones that you can unlock through the game, like Assassin. And then might go into some dual weapon later, but mostly just the passive stuff. Let's see, I don't really have a choice but to put it in below the belt, which is impose penalty to defense and movement speed unless the target passes a physical check. Let's give it a shot. And as I said, playing in normal, because I really hate friendly fire, and this puts it at least to 50%.
For generations, your family, the Kuzlans, has stewarded the lands of Highever, earning the loyalty of your people with justice and temperance. When your country was occupied by the Orlesian Empire, your father and grandfather served the embattled kings of your land. Today, your elder brother takes up House Kuzlan's banner in service to the crown, not against the men of Orlais, but against the bestial darkspawn rising in the south.
I trust then that your troops will be here shortly.
I expect they will start arriving tonight, and we can march tomorrow. I apologize for the delay, my lord. This is entirely my fault.
No. The appearance of the darkspawn in the south has us all scrambling, doesn't it? I only received the call from the king a few days ago myself. I'll send my eldest off with my men. You and I will ride tomorrow just like the old days.
True, though we both had less gray in our hair then, and we fought Orlesians, not monsters.
At least the smell will be the same. I'm sorry, Pop, I didn't see you there. How, you remember my daughter?
I see she's become a lovely young woman. Pleased to see you again, my dear.
And you, Arlha.
My son Thomas asked after you. Perhaps I should bring him with me next time.
Just come out and say I have no interest in arranged marriage. Just question it first. To what end?
Ha! To what end, she says. So glib, too. She's just like her mother when she talks like that.
See what I contend with, Hal? There is no telling my fierce girl anything these days. Make her bless her heart.
Quite talented, I'm sure. One to watch.
At any rate, Pop, I summoned you for a reason. While your brother and I are both away, I'm leaving you in charge of the castle.
What? Why can't I go into battle with you and Fergus?
I'm certain you'd more than prove yourself, but I am not willing to deal with your mother if you join the war. She'd kill me if I let you go. She's already twisted into knots about Fergus and me going.
Oh shit. Jeez. Let me talk to her. I'll convince her.
I doubt that. You know your mother, and she made it clear there is no debate. This is no needless task. I ask you to take a great responsibility. Only a token force is remaining here, and you must keep peace in the region. You know what they say about mice when the cat is away, yes? There's also someone you must meet. Please, show Duncan in.
It is an honor to be a guest within your hall, Tyrn Cousland.
Your lordship, you didn't mention that a Grey Warden would be present.
Duncan arrived just recently, unannounced. Is there a problem?
Of course not. But a guest of this stature demands certain protocol. I am at a disadvantage.
We rarely have the pleasure of seeing one in person, that's true. Pup, Brother Aldous taught you who the Grey Wardens are, I hope.
Small order no longer important. I think I'm one or two. I think this one kind of showcases that I know their charge. They defeated the darkspawn long ago.
Not permanently, I fear.
Without their warning of the darkspawn rising now, half the nation could have been overrun before we'd had a chance to react. Duncan is looking for recruits before joining us and his fellow wardens in the south. I believe he's got his eye on Sir Gilmore.
If I might be so bold, I would suggest that your daughter is also an excellent candidate.
Honor though that might be, this is my daughter we're talking about.
Is there a reason I shouldn't join them?
You did just finish saying that Grey Wardens are heroes, old friend.
I've not so many children that I'll gladly see them all off to battle. Unless you intend to invoke the right of conscription.
Have no fear. While we need as many good recruits as we can find, I've no intention of forcing the issue.
Pup, can you ensure that Duncan's requests are seen to while I'm gone?
Yeah, of course.
In the meantime, find Fergus, and tell him to lead the troops to Ostagar ahead of me.
I'd like to stay and talk to Duncan.
You'll have plenty of time after we're gone. We must discuss the battle plans in the south. Be a good lass and do as I've asked. We'll talk soon.
Alright, let's take a look at our equipment real quick. Need 26 decks for that. I already got my 2 daggers, so we're good there. Put that on. I'll also take that. It looks so weird like that though. Jeez. Okay, so I'll want 20 strength for this. Put that on. Pretty sure that's the amulet I want. 3 cunning. And money. I think that's the belt I'd want, so... One to all. And... armor pen and backstab damage. Well, that's kind of my build, so... I think that's what we want. Alright, did that give me... No, it didn't give me enough. How much strength am I short? Ooh, still a while. I will have a way to get some extra free stats, but I'll get into that later on. Alright. Go ahead and talk to Father.
Shouldn't you be off to your brother, as I asked?
Is sending all our forces south a good idea?
When the king demands it. In fact, not sending our forces south would be a distinctly bad idea. Don't worry, pup. You shouldn't see many problems, but I want you to prepare the men left here, in case.
In case of what?
Legends of the Blights tell of horrible things. These darkspawn once threatened many lands. If we can't hold them, you must prepare for the worst.
This is why I should go with you.
Stubborn as always. I understand. But this is why it's so important that you stay. But let's not speak of ominous things. We shall assume that all will go well, and the Maker will watch over us.
Are you sure you'll be alright?
Your brother and I go into battle, not an afternoon tea. Who knows what will happen to us? I will tell you, however, you're my darling daughter. I love you. And I trust you completely to carry on the Kuzlin name if the worst should happen. But don't worry about me, dear girl. You'll have enough to occupy your mind while I'm gone.
Okay, where do you think Furcus is?
Upstairs in his chambers, no doubt. Saying goodbye to Oriana and your nephew.
Okay.
I'll talk to you soon. Just let me finish my meeting with Duncan.
Alright, how?
Yes?
How long have you and father been friends?
We fought together under King Marek when he drove the Orlesians out of Ferelden. Heady times. The years since have not held the same promise. It's not something a youth would understand. It will be good to ride beside your father again.
You knew King Marek.
Your father hasn't spoken of our time with him? That man took care of his friends. As they say, he was large as life and twice as tall. It's too bad Kalen isn't half that.
Ouch. Yeah, that's the new king. You don't think much of King Kalen?
I think of him as much as he thinks at all.
That's enough, Hal. You speak of our king.
The girl did ask, your lordship. As per the latitude you allow. I merely offered my opinion.
I trust the delay with your men is nothing serious?
Poor weather, I believe. Their progress has been slow, but it's nothing you need worry about.
You told my father the delay was your fault.
In a manner of speaking. If I had reinforced our border levies earlier, my troops could have left before the rains. I confess, my confidence in your father allowed me some complacency. I guess that makes it as much his fault.
Couldn't get some information on this part. Your son is interested in me?
The topic has come up from time to time. The young and their infatuations.
I don't remember returning the interest.
That speaks to your nature, not ours. I can't say I approve of the freedom your father allows. If something did happen, well, we'd address it as befits a family of our stature.
Don't hold your breath.
Your father's permissiveness has made you willful, indeed. It may not always serve you so well.
Just want to wish you well, Araha.
I thank you. That is quite unnecessary.
I'm sorry, but I believe your father wishes to talk to the Arl and myself alone.
I'm just hoping to ask you a quick question or two.
Very well. I doubt your father would mind a slight delay.
And I get all these. How much danger are Fergus and my father in?
Well, I understand the first battles have gone easily.
Indeed. Are the Grey Wardens sure this is a blight, and not simply some large darkspawn raid?
No archdemon has been sighted yet, my lord. But with my entire soul, I believe this is a blight.
I wish we shared your faith. I suppose we shall see for ourselves once we arrive at the King's camp.
Are there really darkspawn in the south?
Indeed. We spotted a horde assembling in the Korkari Wilds not 3 weeks ago. Luckily, King Kaelan took us at our word and marshaled Ferelden's forces quickly. The first battles have already been fought. Your father and I must move quickly.
How many are there?
Thousands. Perhaps 10,000 or more in this horde. Normally the darkspawn stay in the deep roads. It bodes ill that so many risk the surface.
Okay, we've caught bits of that in some of the other origins, mainly the Dwarven, of course. Did you really come all this way to see Sir Gilmore?
I have only found a couple of worthy candidates in my travels across Ferelden. Your father invited me here, suggesting this Sir Gilmore. If he is not suitable, I will head south and join up with the king.
You know the king?
Not well. King Kaelan is an eager young man who has shown great wisdom in responding to the darkspawn threat.
I've heard he is a bit enraptured with the Grey Warden legend, and that is why he caters to your order.
How? That is unworthy of you.
He only repeats what we've all heard. Whatever the king's reasons, I'll take his support. The priority is defeating the darkspawn before they threaten all of Ferelden.
Would you really recruit me?
Of course. You're young, skilled, and eager for battle, or so I heard. The Grey Wardens do not recruit simply anybody, and I intend no flattery when I say you show promise. The old treaties allow me to conscript you even against your father's wishes, but I will not do so. Our order is too small to risk animosity with Ferelden's nobility.
And glad I am to hear it.
It's tempting, your lordship, but I'm content to see what other candidates your castle offers.
Alright, leave you to it.
Until we speak again.
Good evening, milady. Good evening, milady.
Greetings, my lady. You are the Terran's daughter, are you not?
And who are you?
I am a member of Alhal's personal guard. The rest of the Al's forces are expected tonight. I understand you shall take charge of your father's castle once we march.
So I'm told.
Ah, then I wish you luck. Good evening, my lady.
Alright then.
Good evening, my lady.
Good evening, milady. Good evening, milady.
It's supposed to be the mother and father pictures. Now, let's see here. I think I'm supposed to head there. Lockpicking. So yeah, what's my cunning score right now? 25. Okay, so I can open any of them to require 20.
Oh, my lady, we were just,
Playing cards?
well, the treasury's safe. I'm not even sure why the Terran stationed us here.
Did my father fear someone would steal something?
I don't know. Nobody has come to look at the treasury.
Who has the key?
The Terran. And perhaps the Terraner? Honestly don't know, my lady.
Alright, continue your game. and I never came by.
My lady is very kind to show us such lenience.
Thank you for your lenience, my lady.
Have my people, love me. That one requires a key. Okay, I think I can sneak over to this door at least.
There you are. Your mother told me the Terran had summoned you, so I didn't want to interrupt.
Hello to you too, Sir Gilmore.
Pardon my abruptness, my lady. It's simply that I've been looking everywhere for you. I fear your hound has the kitchens in uproar once again, and is threatening to leave.
She was my nanny before she was the cook, and won't leave.
Your mother disagrees. She insists you collect the dog, and quickly. You know these Mabari hounds. He'll listen to his mistress, but anyone else risks having an arm bitten off.
He knows better than hurt anyone.
I'm not willing to test that. You're quite lucky to have your own Mabari warhound, you know. Smart enough not to talk, my father used to say. Of course, that means he's easily bored. Lan swears he confounds her just to amuse himself. At any rate, your mother would have me accompany you until the matter is settled, shall we?
Where is my mother?
She was entertaining Lady Landra and her son when I left her. Perhaps in the atrium? Before we go, my lady, might I beg a question? I've heard from several people that a Grey Warden is here. Is that true?
His name is Duncan. I met him.
Then, is it also true that this Grey Warden was asking after me?
He intends to test you for recruitment.
Maker's breath. Are you certain? Can you imagine
Said as much.
me, a Grey Warden? It would be everything I've dreamed of. Of course, I shouldn't get ahead of myself. Pardon my outburst.
It's all good, man.
Good evening, milady.
Yeah, that's the spot I don't want to head into yet. Yeah, atrium right there.
All right, all right.
Hello, my dear girl. By chance, I am beginning to teach these young squires about your family's history.
Do we have to? History is boring.
Boys, you are referring to the Couslands, the very family in whose castle you live. Show some respect.
Still the same taskmaster, I see.
If the mind is not exercised, it withers just as the body does. Perhaps you'd care to join me in teaching the lesson?
I'm quite familiar with the subject matter.
Perhaps you could make the topic more palatable for these lads and their minuscule intellects.
Very well.
Wonderful. Oh, the Cousland history is long indeed. Where shall we start?
I kind of think this one seems the most interesting. We predate the founding of the kingdom, yes.
Well, I'm glad some of my lessons don't disappear into that yawning chasm between your ears, young lady.
Lecturing does lead to yawning. Yeah, your lecturing does lead to yawning.
A pity you don't spend the same care whetting the edge of your mind as your tongue. At any rate, your family has held the tournure of High Ever since before King Calenhad united Ferelden. In fact, Tierna Elethea Cousland battled Calenhad to maintain High Ever's independence.
We opposed the king.
The Couslands are ardent royalists now, but at that time, Calenhad was unknown and considered dangerous by many. When Calenhad's army reached High Ever, Tierna Elethea led the local bands against him. Obviously, Galahad won.
And Callan had let us keep the Ternier?
Galahad wished to unite Ferelden, not conquer it. After Elethea's men were defeated, Galahad asked her to swear fealty. The boulder where they held council still stands today as a memorial of that event.
Alright, well, when was our line founded?
Records are vague, but the Kuslands became Tierns during the Black Age. Is that familiar, child?
Ah, get a cunning check here. Actually, I don't think they're checks that... The options won't show up unless you actually have the stat to perform it. Pretty sure it's that. During the lycanthrope plagues.
Good. I'm pleased some of my lessons seem to have stuck. At that time, your family held only the minor title of Ban. When the werewolves reached this area, Ban Mather Kusland organized a curfew and patrols within the city. Several other local bands supported his efforts by swearing oaths of fealty, making him their Tiern.
Alright. Tell about our relationship with Arlhau.
The history between the Kuslands and the House reaches back to the Orlesian occupation.
When did Orlais occupy High-Ever?
During your grandfather's rule. Of course, Orlais found it difficult to hold these lands. During the rebellion against Orlais, several battles were fought near High-Ever. The port village of Harper's Ford was the Ternier's center. Its Arl was Tarleton Howe. Though nearly 90, he was still as sharp and bitter as cheap ale. Your grandfather openly supported the rebellion, but Howe sided with Orlais. Your family was forced to seize Harper's Ford before it was all over.
They're our vassals. But my father and Earl Howe are old friends.
The Howes eventually joined the rebellion, when all of Ferelden united behind King Merrick and General Loghain. Just as now we united behind Merrick's son, King Kaelin, to fight the darkspawn.
Oh, end of lessons.
Thank you for indulging an old man.
Does that mean we have to listen to you now?
Silence! I will not have you two becoming smart-mouthed hooligans. Perhaps you should go. I doubt they need any more distraction. I'm just going to settle in here and apparently just talk to myself for all the good I'm doing. Damn, that's myself all this while you do.
Alright. Just went right to sleep.
Boring. Why do we have to read books anyway? I want to learn how to use a sword. Mother says the darkspawn will all be killed and I won't see one. Is that true?
A couple of squire children and talk to Gilmore.
You really should go after your hound, my lady, before he does something worse.
Why aren't you marching with our men?
I would were it my choice. Your father decided I should remain with the complement guarding the castle. I hope that's because this Grey Warden wishes to see me.
Possible. Speaking of, do you know much about the Grey Wardens?
Only what everyone hears. I never expected to actually see one. So few of them are here in Ferelden.
Are Grey Wardens really as skilled as the legends say?
I hear they only recruit the most skilled. It'd be disappointing if that wasn't true.
What happens if the Grey Wardens recruit you?
I only know that once you become a Grey Warden, your old life is over. There's no going back.
Have you ever seen Darkspawn?
Never. You hear about Darkspawn attacking homesteads and travelers, but I thought they were just stories. As you wish. But what if the Grey Warden tries to recruit you? Have you thought about it?
He assured my father he wouldn't recruit me.
He could change his mind. Grey Wardens are notorious for doing whatever is necessary to fight the Darkspawn. Scribe Aldous once told me that the Grey Wardens used to burn entire villages to keep them out of Darkspawn hands.
So they'll kill people to protect them.
If they have to. A few villages are a small price to pay to save the world.
Yeah, think about what's on their shoulders to have to, you know, do things like that at times. Why would he recruit me?
Begging your pardon, my lady, but you are no ordinary woman. You're strong, skilled, and easily the equal of any man on the field or off. The Grey Wardens would be fools to overlook you.
I think the answer I'm going to go with here is I really don't know how I feel about it.
I suppose you have many other options. Me? I would give anything to be recruited.
Tell me about yourself.
Well, you know I've served your father for years, since my own father sent me to squire here. My father is a minor lord in the Bannorn, but our land is little more than a glorified farmstead. I do miss it, though. The valleys of the Bannorn are beautiful this time of year. I take great pride in serving the Turn. Still, if I had the opportunity to join the Grey Wardens, I wouldn't hesitate.
You would leave my father's service?
With his blessing, I imagine. Joining the Wardens is the highest service one can render.
I really don't need you to accompany me, you know.
Oh, it's no bother. I should make sure that Nan is settled anyhow, or your mother will have my hide.
Alright.
Of course, my lady. Lead on.
History of Ferelden. Chapter 2 of that.